you talked about the promo that you did the night after WrestleMania, but you did one 2 weeks before WrestleMania, but it was like your last chance to win the title from Sid before you go to WrestleMania, and you lose due to interference, and you start saying this is and you shove Vince down, which we thank you for. But it was like, if you watch from like you returning in the October and you watch it to like that WrestleMania match, it's like a movie. It feels like it's going to the next point, to the next point. So when you were doing that promo and you're shoving Vince down and you're saying this is and the one the night after WrestleMania, America love it, or Shawn says America love it or leave it, and you say kiss me. Like, what are you thinking? Is there any hesitation about you doing it, or do you just kind of think, well, this is kind of how I really feel deep down, I'm just going to go with it?
Well, it's funny, the specific interview that you're talking about where I went off and swore and all that stuff. The truth is that wasn't all, none of that was my fault. That was, they told me, they said, look, they're going to cut the live feed on the television. They'll cut the sound. So no one's going to hear anything you say. The only one that can hear anything you say is the people in the venue. And without, that's not a problem. So you can swear, I'm just lucky that I didn't say way worse stuff than what I said. So I had their permission. Like they told me, they said, say whatever you want. Just go off any way you want to. And it'll just basically be me yelling and shouting and stuff. And it'll all be bleeped. And, you know, that's what it was. When I was supposed to be mad that I got screwed out of the match or something with the cage. I can't remember. I think Sid retained, somebody slammed the door on my face and I fell backwards anyway, and I grabbed Vince. That's kind of how I remember it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I did all that swearing and swore, which is, you know, I don't know how much trouble Janet Jackson got into for swearing on TV, but I remember they came in the dressing room and it's like they flipped out and totally like, what were you doing? You went on, and I said, you told me to swear. And then they checked and it was like, okay, never mind. Like, but you never hear that part today. It's always like Bret Hart went off on a tangent and swore, and you know, that's why he was so difficult to work with and uncooperative and always crossing over the lines. And that's not true. They told me to do all that stuff, and I don't know how much trouble they got, but I imagine somebody got into some trouble for that. But I know that I never heard about it again after that night. But I hear about it. When I see it today, it's always like Bret Hart going rogue, and it's like not really true.
Well, so you're going to go heel, and then right around the time you were going heel, the Bulldog was almost going to go babyface against Owen. He won the European title in Germany. So at the same time that you're going heel, they're having their own thing, but then you do this promo where you're like, Owen, come on, come back into the family. He blubbers like a baby to you, and then you all get back together. So where did the idea for the Hart Foundation come from?
It was all very, you know, they all got slapped together pretty quick. Like, I did the heel promo in Rockford, Illinois. I wrestled Steve Austin in Chicago. And walked out to the ring as a babyface. If you watch that match, there people cheering me all the way to the ring. And then when I come back, I'm flipping off kids and all I did was give Steve Austin everything that I'd said I was going to give to him when I finally caught up with him, kind of thing. And so when I remember walking back to the dressing room, it's like when I had to give kids the finger and stuff like that. It was like a full-blown turn. And then the very next night I was in Rockford, Illinois. And I remember Triple H and Shawn were sort of working with Vince on the writing or the booking of the TV shows, which is how that ever happened, I'll never know. But they had me, Triple H had it in for Dwayne Johnson so bad. And they wanted me to beat Dwayne Johnson and win the Intercontinental title that night on Raw. And I remember they came to me and I said, I don't want the Intercontinental title. I want the world title. And they said, Anyway, they wanted me to beat him for the title, just to piss Dwayne off, like or to ruin his sort of, to rain on his parade. And I said, well, I don't want to do it. I said, A, I don't get any heat beating Dwayne. If I just put him in the sharpshooter and beat him, I said, that doesn't build any heat at all. It just makes, it doesn't do any good for anybody. So I kind of refused. I remember I refused in the dressing room which is kind of funny now to think about, that I refused to beat him. And I told him that. He was well aware of what was going on, that it was Shawn and Triple H that had it in for him. And that storyline was done that night where we had the big makeup, and I talked them into, and I blamed the American wrestling fans for all the heartache in the Hart family, and how they made Owen and I hate each other and fight each other for their own enjoyment, which is probably true. And it just worked really good. I always thought Owen should have got an Academy Award for that, the crying that he did in the ring. So the Hart Foundation sort of being rebuilt and put back together started the very next day after Austin, I think.
And it's because you and Bulldog and Owen kind of make sense, because your family, you're all there. But where did the idea come to include Pillman in that next? And then what did you have to convince them to bring Jim Neidhart back? Like, what was the conversation to add those two?
Well, there's so many little things that were going on at the time. Of course, there's the cat fight that I had with Shawn Michaels somewhere in
We'll get to that, don't worry.
And just there was a lot of bad tension between Shawn and me. And I personally don't think I was the antagonist to that so much, but I had my share of it. But I think it's the truth is the whole time I was always just trying to do business for the company. When I came back to WWE, I was the highest paid guy, and that bothered Shawn and Triple H. Why it bothered them, I'll never know. How, it doesn't. I wonder if it bothers them what Brock Lesnar makes. It's like so. But nobody would with Brock Lesnar. I'd like to see Vince and all them do a screw job on Brock Lesnar. But they just kept, why it bothered them that I negotiated and made more money than was making the most money in the company, for a company that's 99 for them, 1 for you kind of thing. It should have been a victory for wrestlers in general. Instead, it was, we got to get rid of this guy and topple him so we can take over the company. And that's kind of what happened.